higher levels of ascension, higher dimensions, and that's what we've used within Taoism, is the magical scepter, which is the Ruyi. And so if you correlate this across many different practices, from Hinduism, Christianity, all across the board, they have their own magical scepter that is also representative of Hi, welcome guys to the podcast today. Today we're going to go over a much deeper understanding and unravel the inner workings of magical tools that we use within Taoism that are also representative of magical tools that are used across the board in ancient indigenous practices, and how they correlate with the inner workings of the physical anatomy that generate this universal 0-point energy. It's a profound revelation, and anyone who's interested in the inner workings of all things and the realization that you are the universe is you, please stay to the end as we do an exercise and we evoke that pure source energy and blow your mind. Thanks again for coming, guys, and enjoy the podcast. Oh. Rippling, rippling, rippling. Right here, right now. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jado. That's your new street name.
Oh, yeah. There we go. My street cred.
Street cred is right. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. It's good to be me. Happy days are here again. Actually, every day is a happy day. So, yes, I am in a groundhog replicating, rippling effect of a coincidence that seems to be my very expression of all things. Oh, no. It's horrible to be me. Yes. Well, another segment of the consciousness of the way with High Priestess Jade and Taoist Master San Quinn. And what do we have here? We have a very interesting moment, because we were talking on things the other day about your electromagnetic field. And I had a few students and moreover 126ers, people who are regulars to the channel say, you kept saying torrid field, not Taurus field. Well, they're two of the same, but they're not really. Understand this, know this to be true on a much deeper level within Taoism. We go even deeper than what you perceive on face value. That would be sort of like your go-to or default of information. We go much deeper. Yes, the Taurus field is this electromagnetic circular energy that is emitted from the core of you, and it is relevant and is absolutely parallel to identifying as all the things that we spoke of the last episode, from the yin and yang symbol all the way through to sacred geometry, realization of a cowlick on your head, to the fragmental patterns of a head of broccoli. We understand that. We know this to be true. It's more symbolic, much deeper. There's a reference to the greater, definition of, polarizing effects of yin and yang, and then ultimately the epicenter, the ether, the eternal Wu-Ji, the oneness that comes from the black hole energy. But I was not mistaken in saying a Taurid, not Taurus. And, oops, I released a secret. I'm just going to share it with you so you have a deeper understanding, and then your mind will be blown. In definition, Taurid, and when I say Taurid field, is celestial heat. that's exactly what I meant, and that's what I was in definition of saying. You can see it at face value as a torus field, but from a Taoist perspective, we're talking about celestial, ethereal heat that is all-knowing and really the source to all things, which in definition would be zero-point energy, black hole energy. Ooh, Sifa, I thought I had you. No, not even close. But now you can take that one and put it in your big brain on Brad, digest that one, and take that to the bank as you would explain it. So, this understanding of this admission of this field that's so powerful that connects with all things on a much deeper level, the understanding of the polarization between yin and yang, and the epicenter, which is your heart, which is the access to that black hole energy that materializes, the zero-point energy that is the chi, that is the connecting dots to all things, because there is infinite amount of them, which would then give you an understanding at a subatomic level that all things are full. They're not empty, even though you would perceive at face value in your reality, your 3D reality, that this is nothing more than space between myself and the camera that we're speaking of. There is no space between the camera and myself. It is filled with this infinite amount of zero-point energy, chi as we speak of it, the universe, Tao, Buddha, Allah, God, whatever you want to call it. And so that realization, you get a level up, a big level up of understanding. Now, we look at, today we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to go deeper in it because Jade's very excited about sharing some of the magical tools that we use within Taoism that sort of ripple the effects of the cosmos, that we channel these energies on a much deeper level. They've been used for thousands of years, and one of them that is quite specifically very relevant to all things, which is, where is the creation of all things? I don't know. See if that's a deep one. Well, let's look at it from a physiological perspective. What is life? That is everything that we know within this universe on planet Earth. The conception to realization to birth of a human life, which all takes place inside of 9 months, which happens to be the highest number that we correlate all our numerology in within Taoism. Boom, mic drop. Oh yeah, take that to the bank. That's absolutely relevant to all things. Now, there will always be symbolic numerology, and you will find the 3s, the 6s, the 9s everywhere. But don't be deceived by things that are generated within the idea that fear will create something greater than fear itself. Because it won't. Fear is the distraction. Emotion is the distraction. We've already spoken on that. But let's talk about this. What is the center source of creation? I'm not sure. I could be confused, but let's go right to what we define within Taoism. What is the Tao? The Tao is the mother of all things. Ooh. Did you just say that? See, let's say that one more time. The Tao is the mother of all things. And identifying with that, understanding that that is the true essence of pure source of energy, right? And so what is more of a powerful representation of the mother of all things but pure yin energy, right? And what is a physical representation of pure yin energy on planet Earth? Anyone? I feel like I'm on that movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, anyone? Anyone? Bueller? And then there's that scene where some kid is literally choking in his drool as he's falling asleep on his desk, and he sort of wakes up. You know, you've had that moment where, oh my goodness, I'm choking on my own fluids. Anyone?
The uterus.
Oh.
I was going to let you say the punchline.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you are the High Priestess Jade, and this has never been more relevant to correlate something of such beauty and the creation of all things than that incredible 0 point energy. Now, we correlate this within Taoism. We have quite a few things that we use, but one of these incredible magical tools is what we call the Ruyi. Well, what is a Ruyi, Sifu? Ooh, now, you know, if you sort of go across the plane of different indigenous ancient practices, there are quite a few different things that people use as magical tools. More so than anything else, we need to understand that pure source energy, that Turid field that I speak of, that ancestral heat. Don't be mistaken, not the Taurus field, which is what most people would consider the donut of energy that is emanated from the core of the center of your physical body. That is that electromagnetic field that we speak of. Yes, I was not having a Freudian slip. Well, actually, was I? I think I was. Yes, I'm not mistaken when I speak on the Taurid field as the celestial heat and energy that I speak of. So don't be twisted on this. And then you can have the epiphany moment like everyone else where you get that supercharge of energy going, oh my goodness, my mind is blown. Yes, it should be, because you have just had a deeper understanding of what we are speaking on. That goes way beyond face value data or information that you can get out of a textbook that will give you a scientific definition of what is being admitted from your physical body within this electromagnetic field that at face value would be simplistic in saying the torus field. No, we are talking about the Taurid field, which is the celestial heat. Now, what does that mean? So the sun basically feeds the energy of the physical body, and you create all these alchemical responses when you are able to conduct that light. Now, we've gone deeper in it in the past about the emission of the raising of the red phoenix and then the activation of that heat from your middle dantian, which rises up to your pineal gland, which is one of the three treasures, which is representative of, and you have heard me mention it before, the Ruyi. Sifu, where are you going with this? Well, the power of that magical scepter that we speak of is, are you ready for it? The creation of all things. Well, what is it? What? Okay. You've lost me, Sifu. What are you talking about? Well, we just talked about how powerful the concept or conception of a human being to the flourishing or realization or birth of in human form in this realm. So you go from spirit to the culmination of the alchemical response that comes with that as you inhabit the womb, the uterus of this divine yin energy, which would be representative of a transmutation of the perfection that is this beautiful form. It just so happens to be High Priestess Jade, who is, the miracle of magic that I think people seem to take for granted is the birth of a human being. And I'm very clear on this, just in case you're not clear. As my mother would say, she's the, the mother's cat, which is so inappropriate from a grammatical perspective, which I would never say mame, and I would never, ever call her her a birthing person, because there's no such thing. I'm really sorry to tell you that, just in case you are confused in how you're perceiving your reality. There is no other way for you to create this incredible gift that is life without having access to those tools. And so, from a magical realm perspective, for me to obtain something equal to or greater than what she was naturally, the mother's cat, Jade, was naturally born with, that makes her this magical wizard that creates miracles, with me being able to obtain what we use as a Ruyi, which is the magical scepter, which is in the realms of ascension beyond this ether, higher levels of ascension, higher dimensions, and that's what we've used within Taoism, is the magical scepter, which is the Ruyi. And so if you correlate this across many different practices, from Hinduism, Christianity, all across the board, they have their own magical scepter that is also representative of the uterus. Sifu, you're blowing my mind right now. Oh yeah, that charge that you got, damn straight, that's as real as the day is long, my friend. I could use some other adjectives, but I won't. So this, even though it is miniature in its nature because it's from one of our incredible representations and infused statues in the temple, this is a Ruyi. If you come to notice the similarity in the formation of a uterus, you are absolutely correct. Yes, mic drop moment for all people to come to that realization. And so, of course, when you are performing magical rituals, which, all practices, there are no exceptions. Kabbalah, Christianity, Catholicism, it doesn't matter. Judaism, they all have their own practices, right? That is one that we use within Taoism. That is a very powerful harnessing tool to obtain that incredible 0-point energy. And that's why it is obtained through that upper dantian, and it is activated through the rising of the red phoenix, through the ashes and the creation of a black hole from the death of a star. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and for anyone who maybe is just listening instead of actually watching it, what we're kind of saying is that the Ruyi, the top of it, is kind of very much mimics the shape of the uterus, and then kind of comes into like a curved kind of staff. And so you could call it a scepter, you could call it a staff, you could call it...
Well, we call it a scepter, a magical tool.
A scepter, yeah. And so it's got that shape to it. But the energy and flow kind of that, like, I guess, shape in the...
Just so happens to blossom out like a Taurus.
Blossom
or more,
at the top.
Right. It just so what a coincidence.
Yeah.
It sort of blossoms, and so visually you would identify it as a Taurus blossoming field of energy. What a coincidence. And I mean, there are no coincidences, but Jade was just, being very kind to the audience as a realization of a Murder, She Wrote moment, that TV show back in the 80s. Oh my goodness, who did it? Oh, yes, it's who did it, who done it. Sherlock Holmes, or what Jade would call elementary, my dear Watson.
Yes, exactly.
And so that Taurid field, which in a deeper understanding from a Taoist is a Taurid field, not a Taurus field, which you're more commonly going to identify with. Difference. The Taurus field is just that emission and that donut-shaped electromagnetic field that is conducted and emitted from the core of your physical body and happens to also be the core of the earth, which is all relevant too. No, we are talking about a Taurid field, which is celestial heat, energy. understanding the epiphany of adding these points together, and that realization that, the epicenter of all things, the creation of all things, the mother of all things is the Tao, the Wuji, the 0 point energy. And that's that ether point, that zero energy point that is the breath in and the breath out, which then correlates right back to the black hole energy, which is the source, which comes from your truth teller. This is all realized. And so when you come to that understanding, profound things take place. Don't be mistaken. Don't be twisted. This is the power. This is stuff that they've been using in indigenous ancient practices for thousands of years across the board. You can correlate it to many different religions, many different philosophies, many different practices. Across the board, you will find the correlation of this. And we use the Ruyi for that exact tool to generate this powerful source and correlate it with the constellations and all things that are also correlated with your physical body. And by creating grids using ancient sacred geometry, moreover, the highest point, which is the pyramid, which is the triangle, the highest point, that is the transmission, which would then be in reference to the constellations, which you are a star on a much bigger level. And that starts to correlate and go down deeper and deeper and deeper. We will give you that understanding when you start to use our actual healing system, because we want people to go out and expand the world with this level of consciousness. And so we're going to be releasing this, which is the Taoist rights, which gives you a greater understanding. And then you can complement that with the Way 126, using the visual audible experience, creating a kinesthetic charge that fires up your energetic body, giving you instant access to mastering your emotions and putting you in a place of consciousness, leveling up that dial, one after the other. And so that is what we speak of. And so this revelation, on a much deeper level, always know that nothing goes to waste, and know there is plenty of misdirection in all levels of your awareness of what's going on in your reality. And when you look at things at face value, they're never the same. And especially with the Taoism. And that's something that's been handed down from generation to generation. Are we debunking that and demystifying it and dissolving it? That's really one of the major driving forces of myself and my teachers, is to take Taoism to a new level within the 21st century, giving people a greater understanding of these ancient tools that have been hidden by man. Be very clear, I'm not being motivated by a realm of man. I'm being motivated by the celestial realm that is the highest point, that is an expression of all things, which is the Tao, right? So understand that, know that to be true. When I teach people all things from levels of being psychic, medium, channeling, clairvoyant, senses, sensory perception, elevating that sensory perception so there are no limitations to your abilities to access consciousness, which is all things. This starts with transmutations of that, which we are. I am a transmutation of yang energy. Jade is a transmutation of yin energy. We have the pure balance of the two, and it's realized by expression of our humanness. And that comes out in what we have slowed down through light, wave, particle, matter, or matter, particle. It doesn't really matter. So understand that all this is a representation. All of this is light creating a hologram that you are perceiving as your reality. Don't be twisted. And so just because it's tangible, that means that it's very slow, right? Because we're moving at faster than light speed. That's why I'm able to jump into the ether and instantly read someone's energy, instantly give them a past, present, or future life reading, and it all comes down to a level of consciousness that can be evoked through the chemistry and the synchronization of your energy centers that give you the ability to get direct source information. It's all synchronization. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration. Do not be twisted. Do not be delusional. Understand this, know this to be true. And when that it comes about, when that is realized, all things are known. And you will, and that's why we talk about and we emphasize the feeling, because that kinesthetic charge, the neurology, and that goes back to this nervous system, the soft technology that we have identified as your physical body. The nervous system is the knowing, the truth to all things. On a much deeper level, that is what we, as Taoists, we call the Ruyi, right? So it's not just the head of the Ruyi that you're evoking through the rising of the red phoenix. Your whole Taiji pole, which you would identify as your spine, 33 vertebrae, very coincidental. Mm-hmm. And you can take that across the board, all different indigenous practices and the relevance of that to many things. But within Taoism, well, these are the 3 points that create the highest point that is always comes right back around to the highest number, which is 9. Okay, so there's many different things when it comes to neurology, numerology, neurology, specifically numerology. And we are all letters, numbers, symbols integrated deep within our DNA. So that numerology is so critical to our cosmology, i.e. Constellations, and all that is relevant in how we process the information, the correlation of the constellations within the physical body, and of course referencing and paralleling those within planet Earth and how we obtain them, and especially us. We will be doing segments where we'll be going out to the naturally formed pyramids here within the desert, and we're going to give you a taste of what's up from direct source energy. And so Taoists have been using these pyramids for thousands of years to correlate and to generate the energy sources, right? And so that Ruyi is so powerful because it's the creation of all things. And remember, the universe is you, you are the universe. So when we create life, we create the universe. That is that point. If you want to... for anyone under the age of 18 listening to this material, you can close your ears. But if we were to... This is the real epiphany right now, so take a moment, sit down, and take a deep gulp. But everyone references the beginning of time or everything as we know it as the Big Bang. You want to take that one to the bank and understand that I'm not going to be connecting the dots, but you as an adult should understand what it takes to conceive a child. There you go. There's the joke. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. But that's really, that shiver up your spine right now going, all jokes aside, Sifu, that's pretty profound. Yes, it is. Because when you understand that, the creation conceptually to an actual formation of life, that is the beginning of the universe.
You are the universe.
You are the universe. Just process that for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Oh, Sifu, you're blowing my mind right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say I feel like I have a universe in me.
Well, you are the universe, and our beautiful boy is another form of the universe, a transmutation of that, right? So it's another transmutation, which then can correlate to many things that we talk about when we talk about dimensions, multi-universes, multi-dimensions, oh yeah, everyone's having an epiphany right now with this material, as you should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just the idea in itself that, like, you get pregnant and then this little tiny blueberry starts evolving into all of these senses. And, I constantly get our kids asking, like, well, can he open his eyes in there? How does he breathe? How does he do this? How does he do that? And it's like all of that is just worked out. You know what I mean? It's all in this system, this growing and shifting and changing and developing and altering of the human body to come out and, be fully formed with the soft technology, the neurology, the all of the his heart, his organs, his blood flow. I mean, it's all formed, and you're like, how is that even possible that something like that can grow inside you from something so, minuscule and tiny little egg, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's very surreal.
Profound, to say the least. And so this magical scepter that people use.
It's magic.
Well, it's 100% magic, as is everything real magic. But understanding that on a much deeper level, let's just, go over what we just gave you an epiphany of. That realization that from the uterus is the creation of life, which is the beginning of the universe. Excuse me, Sifu, did you just repeat? Yeah. Damn straight I did. Mm-hmm. And when I share these revelations that are ancient Taoist practices that have been withheld and created within secrecy during a formation of more human-like states over thousands of years, it's time to let it all out.
Yep.
Because you level up in your consciousness when you get this epiphany, this understanding. And that's all we want to do, is to have you realize the power of who you are, your pure source.
And would you say, just looking at it on a very ancient perspective, that I would say, thousands of years ago, most Taoist masters would be men, that they would really kind of rely on the Ruyi as that, like, yin energy for them. Mm-hmm. To balance maybe a little bit more of the yang that they're naturally kind of running through, where it's like they would have that representation through the tool of the uterus, because you know what I mean. I would say most back then, there probably wasn't Taoist master women, in the temples or anything like that, just, on a historical perspective.
Yeah. And that is nothing more than perception.
Right.
The reality is we are all things, right? Present moment. Understand this. Like when you lean on these things, and I would use these tools, numerology, the understanding of duality, only when it is present within that person's perception of reality. When you step past that duality, all bets are off. We're going to ascension school. What does that mean? We're all things. That is the Wu Ji, the stillness, the 0 point energy, the Qi. That is, we are all things. Understand? Oh, yeah, that's right. That shiver up your spine, that blammo realization, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, is what makes it so powerful. And so
there is no title.
There is no title. So when people get caught up in the mechanisms, like the 12 zodiac signs, and we use several different ones within Taoism, that's all correlated to the constellations, and that goes deeper in the numerology. But understand this, there's a correlation for every constellation within the physical body. Ooh, we'll go deeper on that at some point. You can percolate with that and go, oh my goodness, you're blowing my mind. Yes, you're welcome. And so that has to do with the nervous system. Or did I say something? Anyway, To be continued. No. I need to hear more. Later, bro. Later. But you can percolate on that one for a while and understand that the bigger picture, when you realize that the conception of all things from the mother of all things, because the universe is part of the mother of all things. Tao is all things, right? Is the Big Bang. I'm sorry, a little joke there. This realization, the power of all things. This is understanding the mechanisms, inner workings, how it parallels across all methods, all belief systems, all practices. And, within Taoism, we use that Ruyi, that scepter of all things, and you evoke that through our specific practices that create that energy, and it's realized as you start to palpate it, as you become the master, the keeper, the creator of your reality, and you're able to use your attention, intention to move the energy in any direction you choose to. And that's really the power of the Taoist mastery of the energetic body. And then you use that scepter, which is the spine, and basically ultimately the head of the Ruyi, which is represented in a deeper layer, is representative of the uterus, which is the creator of all things. Yeah, you're having a mind-melting moment where it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, as it should. And these powers are all integrated into your very DNA, and that's why it's so powerful. An incantation, a prayer, an affirmation, a mudra, a mantra, that all these things resonate with you. And when they resonate with you, they resonate with your truth teller. And that is realized. You're able to discern, assert, you can create whatever it is that you decide from the feeling.
Mm-hmm. And if you kind of think about the uterus, like what shape it's in the shape of a heart.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this up.
No.
So, you again, guys, we're sharing this deeper layer of understanding, and most people have an epiphany. This is stuff that we have held close within the generational transition of this material for thousands of years within Taoism. And when you come to that realization, profound things take place. You come to us for the level up, and you get that. You obtain that from the Way 126. You obtain that from all the material we put out, and ultimately you will obtain that within the system that we're about to release, Taoist Rights, because that makes you a badass healer instantaneously. You can affect anyone's change, creating what you conceive or perceive as miracles on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. And of course, as you just cut straight to the chase, as you refine your skills, as you go through this training system, you will level up very quickly, and your healings will be as it should be, the speed beyond light speed. And that's how you validate the power of that. And you will synchronize, and once you create that synchronization and you link everything up, you envelop the whole brain. You create this gamma brainwave frequency that is realized as all things. And then you are evoking the inner workings of the Ruyi. And that is the projector, using the pineal gland as the projector. And then all will be known, all will be revealed, all will be all telling, as you are the truth to all things, abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. Blammo.
Mm-hmm. And it all starts, just like we talked about yesterday, it all starts with the feeling. And that feeling you're having when you're like, aha, ooh, epiphany, ooh, knowledge, it's that feeling first. Then it gets validated with the information. And that's where, you get that instant access point.
Wu Wei.
Mm-hmm.
And, a dear friend of the channel, E from Y Dharma, we recently did an incredible podcast with him, and we're going to be publishing that momentarily. As he speaks on it, as we speak on it, understanding the Tao and his integration of that through his affinity to the late, great, eternal Dr. Wayne Dyer, an expression of Taoism, as you would put it, be done by the Tao, or moreover, as we perceive it and we speak on it on a daily basis, Wu Wei, effortless action, that flow, and you are one with all things. That's where the magic takes place, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you access the Wu Ji, and that comes from the center point of the Ruyi. Ooh. And then all of a sudden, you're able to create. So the understanding of the power of that yin energy and that accesses that 0 point energy is a greater understanding that it's all-encompassing. So to obtain this ascension, you must realize it's a convergence of yin and yang energy to create that chi, that 0 point energy. So we're breaking this down as a oneness, right? And when you come to that point, you're being one with all things. So there's many different compartments to this, but you're going to take all these different components today and go, whoa, this is blowing my mind. Yeah, it should be. Because really, the irony or the big joke about the Big Bang Theory is really quite funny, because the truth is, if you have a sense of humor, you'll realize that the conception, the realization, the manifestation of the universe is created through that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mother of all things. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. And we are grateful that we can share this information with you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, the yang energy, the yin energy, and then pure light.
Which is all things.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the creation from the mother of all things. The universe. You are the universe. The universe is you. Ooh, take that for a moment. And so, of course, when we talk about all these things and we go into deeper understanding of it, we like to wrap all that up, because that's a lot of stuff, really.
Mm-hmm.
When we start putting the dots together, it's going to take you a minute. You probably watch this 2 or 3 times and go, whoa.
And that's okay. I mean, it doesn't.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah, it will affect you and resonate with you when necessary.
Right.
So, some people might watch us and go, "What? I have no idea what's going on here. I just like feeling juiced up at the end," and that's perfectly fine too.
That's part of the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, right. And I would like to ask my divine delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade, if she had any thoughts, feelings, emotions closing out this before we get a little supercharge. We're just going to really focus on that profound Ruyi energy, that 0 point energy, that center point that is the uterus, on a much bigger level of understanding. And a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, and so that will be representative of the spine and the upper dantian, which would be physically manifested or transmuted as the brain. And then the center point of the Ruyi is the third eye. Ooh. And that's where a bunch of the magic takes place, because if you notice, just so you can just get a good sense of it, this is your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so all things come from here. Realize that. So the transmission of this up to the pineal through the spine, the Tai Chi pole, you can't make this stuff up.
It looks like your energy body.
Your energy body is correct. And so, there are so many double tantras in understanding, a much deeper understanding of this, and then we're unraveling it and sharing it with you, even though these are ancient practices that have been held in secrecy for thousands, tens of thousands of years. We through my teachers, direct source immortals that were the transmutation of the Tao, pure source energy, pure source information, have given me the green light to share these ancient Taoist practices with the world. Know that to be true. And so you can digest that one and, have a big brain on Brad moment and understand the power of what I'm speaking of. It's pretty profound, and it covers all different types of methods, religions,
ancient
philosophies,
practices.
ancient indigenous practices. And so in perfect form, as you realize I speak of this, yes, you can feel the energy. It's pulsating, because that's why they call me the master. Shogun. No, we're not going back to The Last Dragon, even though that's one of my favorite films from the 80s. Man, that was just gold. That was Hollywood gold right there. And as, of course, Vanity chimes in right now to share with me her highlights, that would probably be the peak of her career in of itself, even though she felt like she was delusional because she was misled or misdirected by what she considers, things of demonic behavior. Okay? Understand that her perception of a reality and her embodiment of Christianity as she sees it, knowing that she's still earthbound, would be a representation of that in her explanation. This is, again, duality stuff, and you got to start somewhere. For how long she's going to hang out here, I mean, she's been physically not of this world for, my goodness, almost 10 years. So, she's not even aware of how long she's hanging out here. But hey, look, Vanity, I got you, girl. I'm big fan of the music, big fan of the energy that you bring with it, and your general emission of the power source, and whether it comes in the form of Jesus and God that you perceive as your reality, then amen to you. Amen. And so let's just look at that. Let's go into that energy of the Ruyi, the center point, the 0 point. Whoa. And, as we're just entering that, you can make it quite easy. The respiration is going to be very simple, guys. I've already tuned the frequency, energy, vibration. You're already receiving that emission, that emitting frequency, energy, vibration that I've created. And so now, how do we attune to that really quickly? It's going to come from that respiration because it's already out there. Your electromagnetic field is rippling, it's vibrating. So let's just take it to the next level. Let's get that level up. And as it becomes dense, and as you can see, jade feeling more and more thicker and more in a sedated state, that is part of the creation of that, because depending upon where the energy is within your energetic body, stagnation, excess, deficiency, as it correlates and synchronizes all your energy centers so you get that complete flow, you may feel very sedated. You may feel like on the verge of the spectrum of theta, delta, epsilon, or you could just burst right into gamma, high gamma, lambda, and so on, which is just a large spectrum that envelop the brain as a whole, which is the tuning fork, which is the head of your Ruyi. Oh, yeah. And then on a much deeper level, we're talking about it from the creation of all things. Oh, yeah. So with that said, I would suggest as a participant within this experience to close a sense and take a moment. And the breathing respiration is going to be quite simple. You're going to breathe 9 times. You're going to short breath in through the nose. Actually, no, they want you to short breath in through the mouth, long breath out through the mouth. And this is going to go on for 9 times, and then you're going to hold it at the end. And the transmutation, the condensing of that energy within your upper dantian, within your pineal gland, within the center point of the Ruyi, which is that 0 point energy, which is all things, the Wuji, between the breath in and the breath out, it will be realized, and that transmutation of that energy will be validated through your physical experience. So without any further ado, you guys are already feeling the density and the pulsation of this energy. Let's go through the exercise itself. And of course, the realized magnitude of that is I'm going to bring in the spirit and energy of platinum, the spirit and energy of gold, the spirit and energy of silver. As you can feel it already, I don't have to do anything else. That is all present now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with that said, you're going to feel that heaviness in your head. That's okay. Now we're going to breathe on it. Breathe in through the mouth, short breathe out, exhale through the mouth. Last one. Hold it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh, yeah. Now you're attuned. Very, very attuned to these frequencies. My goodness, that is a lot of energy. And so just your respiration alone and the fact that the density, the pulsating magnitude of that energy will give you the bobblehead effect, but it's saturating you at a subatomic level, helping you evoke a much clearer receptor of what you would perceive as your third eye, your sixth chakra. Within Taoism, there are 9 eyes, and so that's your 6th eye. But anyway, we'll get deeper into that, but I'll give you another brain melter on that because you're completely out there. And for that, with all the people that are listening to me from a distance or they are just within this energy, immerse yourself. You will get a biological upgrade that will not stop until it is done. So be done by the Tao. Realize that. Know that to be true. Allow the effortless action, the Wu way that we speak of, and it will be realized and it will be done when it is done. And of course, I want to thank my divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn, and I will see you on the next one, guys.